my name's Kevin Gibney. I'm with Independence Live. I'm here at the CommonSpace office with Angela Haggerty. Angela, how are you?
Alright, Kevin. How are you doing?
Good. So this could be the first of maybe more Facebook live streams in the future, yeah?
Yep, that's the idea.
Oh.
Was it worth me just giving a little introduction to why we're doing this?
Yeah, please
well,
do.
we thought that it would be a good idea. Am I just talking straight to camera?
Yeah, straight to
camera.
You can talk to me off camera, it's up to you.
We thought that it might be a really good idea to bring people into the editorial room and let them see actually what happens and how we make decisions and the kind of stuff that we're working on and what it's like just to have a day in the CommonSpace office. We're funded entirely by our readers, by the public, so we think it's really important that people see how we're coming to decisions in news, because we get a lot of stuff, Kevin, you probably get this in real life as well, where people kind of come back at us on social media and they make assumptions sometimes about how we've decided to cover certain stories or why we've chosen things, and then they don't realise actually that the editorial process is quite different. So we thought, good idea, let's open it up, and that way if we're missing things in our editorial meetings as well, if we're going around and talking about what we're working on and there's another angle that maybe we haven't thought of or that we could be working on, people can get in touch with us directly and say, well, have you thought of this, or here's a person you should speak to, or here's something else that you should do. So it helps make it more of a kind of inclusive process with our readers, and that's how we think that journalism should be done. And
if you have any questions, actually, you can post them beneath the live stream on the Facebook page, right? And you'll respond.
We're on Facebook. This is going to be streaming live on Facebook. We've got our Facebook page. You can leave a comment. We're on Twitter at the CommonSpace as well. So there's plenty of ways to get in touch with us. And as ever, media@common.scot is our email address, so you can just give us a shout if you want to get in touch a bit more privately.
Excellent. Right, shall we go and maybe talk to some of the
Let's go and have a wander around. I'll introduce everyone to the team.
Fantastic.
So, important to let everyone know as well that we've just started a brand new team of work experience students. So they're less than a week into it as well, and they're doing a fantastic job. So I'm going to introduce you to the new team, and we've also got David Jameson, who's one of our regular reporters. People will know David's name most likely. Michael Gray has swanned off to Europe for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So he's away travelling, although hopefully with Brexit we'll be getting some great stuff from Michael from abroad.
Just on that note, I believe Michael's going to be doing some live streams from Brussels.
Fantastic.
So that'd be quite exciting.
No such thing as a holiday when you work at CommonSpace,
yeah,
that's for sure.
We've got an Independence Live person out there, he's working. So
the new media in Scotland, we're getting about.
Yeah, we sure are. So he'll be doing live streams with Michael.
So I'm going to introduce you here to, this is Maxine.
Hi, Max.
Maxine is one of our work experience people, and Maxine's been with us just since Friday. That was day one, wasn't it? Work experience. So Maxine, why don't you tell all the viewers what it is that you're doing as part of your work experience here at CommonSpace?
Okay, so mostly what I'm doing is taking charge of the CommonSpace social media, so making sure that every time a story goes live on the website, you guys hear about it via Twitter and Facebook, and hear about it a lot so that you don't miss it, because we all know that you're very, very busy people. And if you want to see that in action, I'm tweeting about what we're doing right now.
Excellent.
So there, that just went out. I've been live tweeting the Chilcot statement today, David Cameron's Chilcot statement,
P&Q's
questions, So love a bit of live tweeting,
and you've been writing up some stories as well.
Yeah, some of the past articles. I managed to get a couple of those out. It's been hectic today, but I'm really enjoying it.
So how are you finding the work experience so far? Is this your first time in a newsroom?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you find it?
It's really busy, but it's not scary. It's really welcoming. It's a really great atmosphere. So I'm really glad about that.
We're glad to hear that. Right, we'll leave you to it. You can live tweet the rest of this. And this is Nat we're going to speak to next. This is Nathaniel, who we call Nat. Which I did make a joke actually, because his email address now is going to be nat@common.scot, which I thought, anyone say that's taking pro-independence to a whole new level at CommonSpace. But so Nat, let's just talk us through what you're working on today. This is a really busy day for us at CommonSpace, and you can tell everyone why. Everyone's already talking about it on Twitter.
Yeah, it's an incredibly busy day because the main story of the week, the month really, is broken. It's the Chilcot report. It's just being published. and we're looking at the responses of Sir John Chilcot and what he said about the report, and the areas that he felt that the UK government made errors and how they could improve. So, the main stories that I've been working on is really breaking down for our readers the main features of the Chilcot report, what's been said, and the effect it's going to have on UK politics. But also looking at the responses, whether that's responses by people involved like Tony Blair himself, or looking at the statements by David Cameron or the leader of the opposition, Jerry Corbyn.
And it's I mean, baptism of fire for you now, isn't it? Because this is an absolutely huge document, the Chilcot report, and you're trying to work your way through it and find the best angles and everything for our readers. So it's quite a challenge.
It's a huge challenge. It's 2.6 million words.
That would take you long to read.
I'm a good reader, but I'm not that good. So it's been quite difficult actually, sort of sifting through all the information that's out there. There's a lot of excess, but trying to invest a lot in research to find out the precise things that people need to know. Yeah,
and so are you enjoying the work experience so far?
Oh, very much. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. It's a great atmosphere in here.
Excellent. And I love how you made Chilcot the story of the month, because Brexit is so last month now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're now in the news story of the month. So we'll leave you to it, Nat. I know you've got a hell of a lot on today, and we're going to have some of that Chilcot content coming up pretty shortly for everyone, so keep an eye on CommonSpace. Next up, we've got Alice. Alice is part of the work experience programme as well. So, Alice, you're working. You're not on Chilcot at all today. You're working on something else. You've been on for a couple of days. Why don't you tell us about that?
I'm working on the Scottish Child Abuse Inquiry, in which Susan O'Brien just resigned. And I've got a couple of interesting leads about that story that I'm following up today. And tomorrow I'll be in Edinburgh. There's a press meeting in Edinburgh for it, so I'll be through there, and hopefully they will announce the new chairman of the inquiry through there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how are you finding the work experience so far? Yeah, it's been really, really exciting. I like the fast-paced environment of being in a newsroom, and it's exciting getting all the information, the latest news really quickly as well. Yeah. I feel like you're writing about it all as well. So. Yeah, it's not too scary, hopefully. No. That's good. That's good. The terrifying thing is that you bring people in for work experience and it just terrifies them, because it's like being thrown in at the deep end a little bit, isn't it, with the pace. And when something like Chilcot and Brexit and all that happening at the same time, it's just a bit like, wow, there's so much to be trying to dissect. But if you're anything like me, you just find that exciting. You find that you really thrive on that. So next up, let's take a little wander around, and mind yourself, Kevin. We've got wires and bags and tables and everything around here. So we've now got David Jameson, who is...
Back in your head, looking good.
David's one of our regular reporters. He's been with us at CommonSpace for, about a year now, David?
A year coming up on the 20th,
just coming up. So what are you working on today?
I've just been subbed into the Chilcot stuff. Obviously it's a huge story that's dominating the news. We don't necessarily have the resources of the people who are right there at the report as it's being read out, but I think that we're more than equipped to give an adequate context to what's happening and help people understand the significance of some of the things that Chilcot is saying.
So as one of our experienced reporters, David, I mean, how do you, just to give our readers a bit of an insight into the editorial, I mean, we have to make decisions on how you're going to cover stories like this, where there are so many angles and so many lines you could look at. How do we normally decide that, how do we pick what we're going to go for? How do we make that choice? What's in our heads?
Well, obviously there's relevance is the most obvious thing. The news has to be the news. It has to be the thing that most people are interested in at any given time. But something that's relatively unique to CommonSpace is that we take a sort of angle on things of things that are going to be interesting to people who are involved in campaigning activity or activism. Obviously, as well, we're a Scottish website with a Scottish editorial focus, so we'll also be picking up on elements of wider news stories that are relevant to Scotland. So we might focus, for example, on more on some of the Scottish parents of soldiers who died in Iraq and their stories and their arguments in the coming weeks.
Mm-hmm. It's a fascinating one for us, Kevin, because what we're trying to do now at CommonSpace is we think, and many of our readers have agreed that sometimes the problem's finding the Scottish angle in something, and while that's important, we think that there should be, we should have an outward, kind of more international editorial line on things as well, where we can sort of set a bit of an agenda in Scotland on how some of this stuff might be covered. So we try and balance the two things, and Chilcott's a really great opportunity for us to try and not just kind of cover it for our Scottish audience, but try and make a different mark on it from a journalistic perspective.
Absolutely.
So it's quite a big challenge, and a great one for the likes of Nat to be getting involved in work experience. And so next we come round to Stuart, who's on our work experience programme as well. And Stuart, you've been on a bit of a mishmash of things, because I've had to pull a few of you off of what you were doing originally and put you on to Chilcott, because there's just so much. So why don't you just give us a rundown of everything that you've been looking at today, even if you've been pulled off it? Apologies.
Previously I was looking at a couple of social policy things about the WASPy campaign, Women Against State Pension Equality, and the aftermath of the Brexit vote. But obviously with Chilcott exploding onto the news agenda, I've been roped into this. So now I'm looking into the specifics of whether it's actually legally possible for Tony Blair to be indicted in The Hague, because there have been claims and counterclaims on the part of various legal experts about whether that could or could not be possible. So I'm just looking into that.
Yeah.
So
this kind of ties in a little bit to what I was saying there about trying to somehow to kind of set an agenda a little bit more in Scottish media, and to be actually going to these other bigger institutions and asking the questions, because I think all too often we kind of leave it up to the London media and think it's not really our place to do that stuff. So we're trying. It's quite difficult when it's international, because we don't have a great deal of we don't have anything like the resources that bigger newsrooms do, so we're somewhat limited, but we're doing what we can, doing our best to sift through it all. So how are you finding the work? Because you've done some freelance stuff before, haven't you, Stuart? And you've written for Bella Caledonian, am I right there? And even New Statesman, some really big titles. But you've never really done the newsroom thing before. Yeah. So how are you adapting to this environment?
Shock to my system, as it were. It's obviously speed is a challenge. It's a bit of a baptism of fire, as you said to Alice before.
Can be intimidating, but believe me, it gets better.
Yeah, there is no doubt about it. It is pretty intimidating, but hopefully I should get the hang of it within the next couple of weeks.
You're doing great. Everyone's doing great. I'm absolutely delighted with the team. So let's just kind of scoot back across here and try not to trip over anything. Sorry again, Kevin. You can put in a claim if anything happens to you.
That's okay.
They would be able to give you much. So that's pretty much us from. We can get our team in the background here. There we are.
Good shot.
They're all hard at work.
Right, let's see this. We'll give you another shot. How's that?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good.
So
amazing what you can do with this fangled technology, Kevin.
It's I'm using iPad Air 2s here, so I might want to talk to you about that. Maybe technology you could get. But how do you see this? Could this benefit CommonSpace, what we're doing just now?
I think so, because it's like I said, it's that open and making sure that relationship we've got with our audience, with our readers and our funders is constantly open, rather than it being an us versus them. We don't want people to feel like they fund us, like they give us money and then like they're supporting us. It's more like we've been trusted with their money, with their funding, to deliver something that they think is needed to deliver. Us, like, journalism to me is like a public service to some extent. It's an essential thing in a democracy. So that's how we try and come in and see our jobs. And in order for that to work, it's more important than ever, I think, to make sure that you're opening that line of communication with the readers. So this is a way we can do that. We've got the CommonSpace social network, which is nearly finished now, and we're hoping to launch that really soon. We could have launched it before now, but we want to get it right. We want it to be as usable as possible at first glance. So we've kind of delayed it to get that right, but hopefully when that launches as well, that'll be another way that we can really open the channels between us and the readers. And of course we've got social media and email and all that as well. But the more I think, the better. And it's great as ever to be working with other new media like yourselves. Yeah. And I believe as well, Kevin, you've got a crowdfunder running just now for Independence Live. So please, everyone that's watching, we rely on people like Indie Live, and you rely on people like Indie Live to get out there with their cameras and give you access to amazing stuff that they do. So please support them we're all very, very grateful for the support that we get, but Indie Live, I really think it's essential in the landscape.
Thanks for that, Angela. Yeah, we'll put up a graphic with a crowdfunder on it in a little while. So this interaction with readers is a big thing. I mean, for example, if you wanted to send message to us now, you can do it via Twitter, but also underneath the Facebook live stream, you can send messages. We don't actually have anybody looking at it now in the office, but we'll get there, right?
Yeah, we'll get the hang of it. We'll get every
But this is the first.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea, if people can see us walking around and people are talking about what they're working on, and like I said, there's such a wealth of knowledge out there among our readers that they might not want to write articles, they might not want to do opinion pieces, they don't want to get involved in the editorial by themselves, but they still have suggestions and ideas and contacts maybe that they could pass on. Exactly. So if they can see what we're working on and what we're thinking about, the lines that we're looking at, then they can kind of jump in and make
feedback is important, really important.
Definitely, it's vital, and it helps us stop. It helps prevent that thing that often happens in journalism, where journalists feel like they're on one side of a wall and that the readers are on another side of the wall, and that the two people don't understand each other properly. Like there's a breakdown of communication there. So we want to try and make sure that doesn't happen with CommonSpace. So this is just one of several ways that I think that we can try and do that.
Create that connection. Also, right, we've also been getting the journalists here to do tests to, a Facebook account we set up, live stream tests, and that seemed to be quite successful. At the moment, I'm using a kind of complicated setup with 2 iPads, but you can use phones and stuff as well. So maybe, at some point, if they're out and about, the journalists can live stream to the Facebook account for those.
Yeah, well, it wasn't until you were in the other day that I realised that you can do that now. So for people that don't know, you can just you can go live from Facebook straight from your phone, and it goes on as a live feed. You might have noticed it coming up, like from a few people on your friends list. Maybe it's suddenly someone goes live, and you get notifications for it now. And I've just noticed that recently, and I didn't know what it was. That's what it is, which is great. If you're out at demos, if you're at public meetings, if you're at anything where if you've got data or you've got Wi-Fi or whatever, you can just go live right away. I mean, it's amazing access for citizen journalists, and for new media like us, where we don't have great fancy equipment, but we do have phones and we do have maybe iPads, then we can make the most of that.
Absolutely, this is kind of changing the way a little bit how journalism works, doesn't it? I mean, if there's people watching this now, if they were out at a demo live streaming and it was onto their Facebook and we picked up on it, we can share it onto CommonSpace, etc. Right, so it's really powerful stuff, and you're bringing most people.
Thank you to Indie Live for coming in and giving some training to the team.
No, this is actually part of what we do. It's a really important part is to help the new Scottish media, because we want you to get the news and content out there, really good content. So it's part of our job, but thank you anyway. Okay, so folks, I think it's goodbye from us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, people. Bye. Little waves. There you go, little waves.
It's like universal challenge.
Indeed. Okay, folks, I'm just going to do a couple more things. I'll put up the graphic for my crowdfunder. Right there, 2 seconds. Where is it? There you go. Okay, so you can see the crowdfunder link up there if you can support us. Also, please support CommonSpace. They provide an incredibly valuable resource. And I believe I might be doing a live stream later with Mr. Jonathan Shafi talking about this report that's come out. Okay, so we shall see you again. Bye.